Prince Harry's conversation with Bryony Gordon, a dear friend who he has worked with in the past on mental health. In their conversation, Harry describes his memoir, Spare, and what prompted him to write it. Oh, yes, we know. A whole lot. As we have all noticed, it's because the British media has been bullying his wife, Meghan, on behalf of the British monarchy. Harry's disdain for the media is obvious, and he is not holding back when it comes to them. He describes the media to Baroni as a dreadful mob of dweebs and crones and cutthroat criminals and clinically diagnosable sadists. Everyone has a limit, and Harry discusses what he will not allow. In their conversation, Harry said to Bryony, "If I see wrongdoing and a pattern of behavior that is harming people, I will do everything I can to try and change it." Everyone remembers the passing of Diana when the world stood still. So, Harry too has been harmed by the British press because they contributed to the loss of his mom at the tender age of 12, which took an inevitable toll on his life. There's obviously a significant amount of pain that comes with losing a parent. The grieving process of a loved one can manifest itself in many ways, and as for Harry, his way was through self-medication. Harry talked about how he confronted the passing of his mom. He said, "I was doing everything humanly possible not to think about her." Gladly, Harry healed and overcame his mother's passing. Here is how he was able to heal. He said, his healing began when he started engaging in therapy once he met Meghan, his wife. It was through therapy he was able to deal with his mother's passing and realized that his mother wanted him to be happy. Now, Harry's answer to people who have questioned the motivation of his book. In response, he said, "What's the difference between airing lies about your family through the British press or airing truth through a book? In my case, this is all contained in one place where I hold myself entirely accountable and responsible for what I'm saying." So proud of the Sussex Squad, Harry stated what many in the Sussex Squad believes. Harry believes that the press has a lot of dirt on his family. As he says, "I know they have, and they sweep it under the carpet for juicy stories about someone else." Harry and his wife, Meghan's suffering, and boy, has she suffered and endured in that British press. The heartbreaking event of Meghan's suffering that Harry witnessed. I was coming back to Frogmore after Archie was born, and I would walk into the nursery, and there she, Meghan, was in floods of tears, tears dripping on Archie while she was breastfeeding him. That was a heartbreaking point for me. And she's someone who doesn't read the stories. She would be dead if she was reading the stories. Here's why Harry wrote his memoir, Spare. He said, "This is not about trying to collapse the monarchy. This is about trying to save them from themselves. And I know that I will get crucified by numerous people for saying that." Don't worry, Harry. Say it loud and clear. Say what's on your mind. Speak your truth. Don't worry about other people. This is what Harry has to say to his critics, and they are plenty. "I feel this is my life's mission, to right the wrongs of the very thing that drove us out, because it took my mom, it took Caroline Flack, who was my girlfriend, and it nearly took my wife. And if that isn't a good enough reason to use the pain and turn it into purpose, I don't know what is." For a while, Harry was very unhappy. Here's what he said about his unhappiness. "I was never aware of how unhappy I was. I didn't allow myself to think about it." Now, on bullying, Harry's pointing out the double standard. They're calling his wife a bully, but really, the real bullies are within the palace. Let's listen. You look back on the history of how many members of my family have shouted at staff, and that is apparently all forgotten about, and Megan's the bully. It's like, what? No, no, no. The members of this family that are literally brought up within this construct have some issues to deal with. Remember, Harry has a 3-book contract with Random House, and this is what he said about his experience with writing his first book, Spare. He said it was definitely cathartic. It was painful at times. It was eye-opening. Harry, on the memories the book dredged up. There were memories that I managed to pull up and over the wall that I had forgotten about, that I didn't even know existed. And there were times when I scared the shit out of myself as well. He continued, for example, Afghanistan. There were moments there that took me back. I would close my eyes and put myself back in the cockpit and fly those missions again. And JR was amazed by the level of detail that I could remember. Don't know if it's luck, but this monarchy has been in existence for 1,000 years. And truly, they really do have 9 lives, because Harry's book could have been more damaging to the British royal family. Harry explained to Bryony that by the time he had finished speaking to his book writer, there were 800 pages. The finished book has 400 plus. So he said it could have been 2 books, put it that way. Harry also alluded that there are some damaging things that he could have included in his book. As he says, there are some things that have happened, especially between me and my brother, and to some extent between me and my father, that I just don't want the world to know, because I don't think they would ever forgive me. Harry wants an apology from his family, as they should, because they have put him through the ringer, as well as his wife, and has bullied him out of his birth country. Harry has been saying that he's been trying to work things out with his family, and this is what he said on that point. The way I say it is, I'm willing to forgive you for everything you've done, and I wish you'd actually sat down with me properly, and instead of saying I'm delusional and paranoid, actually sit down and have a proper conversation about this, because what I'd really like is some accountability and an apology to my wife. Harry strongly believes that one of William's children will end up a spear like him. Oh my.